This month's burning question is, are foreclosures a good deal? And we're going to tell you today why they are not the deal that you're expecting it to be. So why are we talking about foreclosures? Well, with the economy being the way it is, it's something that I personally had come up with clients who've reached out and asked for foreclosures. So we thought, why not share this with everybody? So typically when people reach out, why are they calling about a foreclosure? Because they think it's a deal. So what is a deal? Guys, we consider a deal anything to be where you can say the price that you paid is less than what the true market value of that property would be. Pretty simple. Why are foreclosures a deal? Well, the biggest reason why they typically are not a deal is because of the process involved with a foreclosure. So let's talk about that. Let's skip the part where the bank unfortunately has to go through that process and foreclose on a home. And let's talk about the part where you see a listing online and you notice it's a foreclosure. Well, initially, that process is really no different than any other home that you see online. You can call your realtor, you can go tour the home, and then you can make an offer. And even that offer is not very different. You can put subject to your financing, you can do an inspection, you can review the documents. However, the one difference is there is a subject in favor of the seller, which is subject to court approval. So that initial buyer can go through that entire process, satisfy their conditions, and then say, hey, we're happy with that. We're going to remove those conditions and even provide a deposit. And that's where things get very different. Once the deposit is provided, the bank is actually going to apply for a court date. And when they get that court date, they're actually going to let everybody else know. So anybody else who had called, inquired, or showed up with the property, A, they're going to let them know how much that offer they currently have accepted is for, and then 2, that date. So what actually happens on that court date is all the interested parties have an opportunity to come bid on that property. And they're not going to show up to that date unless they're willing to pay more than that initial buyer. So as you can see here, that initial buyer can of course show up and make a bid as well. But the time that's now passed from the property being listed, an offer accepted, a court date approved to the date, this can be weeks if not months. So there's plenty of time here for the property to be marketed, exposed for its highest and best value. And even in that process, when you're in there, we've personally seen it where now you're bidding and you can physically see the other people willing to buy the property and emotions are involved. A lot of people end up paying more than they initially would have wanted to, and even though the whole premise for the foreclosure was to get the deal. So as you guys can see, there's even risks here that a buyer would take on with a normal property, but due to that process alone, you can see that a bank's job is to sell the property for true market value. Yes, we know a bank is not emotionally involved, but they're also not going to give a property away. Banks are in the business of making money, so they go through that due process to make sure that they get true market value for that property. So that's the biggest reason why, guys, foreclosures aren't the deal that you're expecting it to be. If you do want to know how to find a good deal, we're going to drop another video. Please wait for that.